What was the new shit we were just talking about just now? Oh, Troy Ave. I had a guest coming, and I don't have guests come. Well, I normally don't have guests.
Let's not say who we had coming because we might still have.
No, I ain't having them.
It might pass
another
by
date?
now.
No.
I don't think that'll pass. That's something that needs to be addressed.
Well, when I spoke to him, he was like, "It's not much I could say because of legal matters, of course." And then I said, I really just want you there so you can confirm the amount of times that I tried to intervene.
Oh, so this is about you, not even the fans.
I'm a narcissist, Rory.
Mm-hmm.
I find a way for everything to be about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I agree with
all
that.
your beefs.
Am I a
Look at
narcissist?
everything coming full circle. You beefed the most because wow, we're making some progress here.
I know.
You might be a culture forwarder. I see where you're going with this.
See, finally.
Yeah.
No, he's a Joe forwarder.
Yeah.
It's all about him. He just happens to be in the culture.
If I'm a Joe forwarder, I
You're
should have been fired. I should have been fired from being a Joe forwarder.
Right, but like you were saying, he couldn't talk about it because
He couldn't talk about it because of legal matters, and I wanted him to come here because I tried to intervene multiple times just to say something. Partly because I cared. Another part just because it was issues that I'm sensitive with, i.e. suicide, i.e. depression, i.e. weirdos. Troy Ave on his way up, he dissed all of those things a lot. So because Hovain, I think, is a cool dude, I hit him. I've spoken to Troy about this. Like, I just tried. I say all that to say I watched that Doggy Diamond interview where Banger's brother Trife Gangster was interviewed. Real good interview. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds. I then watched the Troy Ave interview with the Breakfast Club. I then hit my group chat about the Troy Ave interview on Breakfast Club. Then I text all my friends that weren't in my group chat and said, y'all should watch the Troy Ave interview on the Breakfast Club. Then I invited friends over to my house to watch the Troy Ave interview on the Breakfast Club. And then that night, I watched the Troy Ave interview again with my girl on the Breakfast Club. Now that I've said that, that's probably one of the greatest interviews I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
10 times. Speak on it.
Number two, I'm afraid of Troy Ave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared to death for him, and I am scared to death of people like Troy Ave. People that have or seem to have very little regard for human life, his or someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary. So listening to him talk as many times as I did, he said a lot. I try my best to avoid people like that. I found it kind of interesting, and I know I've seen people comment on the fact that he was doing the interview with Charlemagne, who is friends with Tax.
Mm-hmm.
What is y'all's take on that? Because I don't mind that.
That's Charlemagne's
Charlemagne's
job.
a professional.
Yeah.
I think he can distinguish between the two, right?
Yeah.
But
and at that, the facts of the case have not actually came out at all. So right now, I'm doing my job with someone who, at the moment, people want to hear from.
my only problem
I will
with
say he was a little quieter than usual. I'm not saying he was silent.
he should have been. He should. That was radio gold. I keep hearing people say that Charlemagne was quiet. And when you
let him go.
have a nigga up there speaking the shit that Troy Ave was speaking, you just let him go. Just go. Why would I jump in?
Well, that was like when we said
Woo!
Tax in the Beans interview. Tax just said like 3 words, and it was the perfect interview.
No, that's different.
But no, of course it's different.
Tax
'Cause I
said
think-
3 words because out of respect.
Yeah, but also Beans was going on his own. You didn't need to interrupt him with a question that didn't matter.
Of
I think
course.
Charlemagne, of course I can't prove this. This is just from what I saw. To your point, I think Charlemagne was also a little uncomfortable as well as any human being would be with what's happened with this case and his not involvement in the case, but his friendship with Tax, who's now jammed up on a gun.
Why should he be uncomfortable?
A friend is I mean, if there's some,
Should Charlemagne be uncomfortable?
if there's some type
His
of,
friend is involved in the situation.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about with Troy Ave, though. Why should he be uncomfortable interviewing Troy Ave?
Because his friend is involved directly in that situation with the guest.
But
we
that
can
situation
only
went on
speculate.
for years.
Yeah, but now it's at a different level, though.
I know. So, and that's when I watched
a
that.
much different level than some podcast to tweet shit. This is way fucking different.
But that's my point. So when y'all watch that interview, when I watched that interview, it didn't bother anybody that maybe, just maybe, and we don't know this, maybe if Charlamagne and Troy have that conversation sooner, maybe some things happen differently.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Because Charlamagne maybe can get through
that's
to
in
tax.
hindsight. That's after everything is said.
And I'm not blaming Charlamagne for that.
Yeah,
of
no,
course
no,
not.
I get that.
I'm not that stupid. But that was just like a weird twist to me. And then I had to watch the interview again because I forgot that dynamic. So then I wanted to go back and see Charlamagne's interview style with this guy. I just say I want to pray for Troy Ave. I just want to pray for Troy. I had a whole long hot take to get into all of the stupid shit that he said and maybe ways that this could have been avoided. But after watching that Trife Gangsta interview, like,
I think that first of all, you got to remember life was lost, so rest in peace to
yes.
100%.
Condolences to his family, but I think that Trife Gangsta his interview, he spoke from a place where I think everybody totally understood what he was saying and where he was coming from, and things he was saying made sense. You know what I mean, when you take the whole thing into account. But above all of this, man, the entire situation to me is just so unfortunate, man, because I feel like it's so much shit that happened, and I still really don't know why any of this happened. Like, that's the crazy part about all this shit. I still don't even really understand how it even got this far and all of these events happening.
What happened?
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like we know that whatever happened in that room, it should have never came to that. Is what I'm saying. Like, I still don't understand the whole thing, honestly. Like, I really don't. But it's just unfortunate because I think there's so many people involved that had so much going on, so much positive shit going on for themselves, and it's just unfortunate, man. Like, as guys growing up in the hood, man, it seems like we always get in our own ways at some point. And my thing is, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop getting in our own way, and we got to start noticing when we find our lane and we doing some dope shit. Stay there. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that other shit in the past and all that negative shit. Stay on that dope shit and keep doing what you're doing over here. Like, and we got to stop getting in our own way, man. But
sometimes your ego will void your progression, and like I've said before, the energy that you manifest, you eventually have to face. So you should be very careful with the type of energy that you create, especially when egos are involved. That will halt your progression for positive things.
Egos. I like that word. That word popped up a lot when I was watching this interview because he just kept giving off information without knowing he was giving off information. At one point, there was a 5-minute stretch where he sounded like him and his mom were aggravated that Banger's family decided to bury him in North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, but that's everything that Trife touched on. That's why I said everything that he touched on was like
watching that Trife Gangsta interview was so informative to me. Well, shit, Troy touched on it too. But when Trife said it, I understand. When Troy said it, it's like confirmation. You're not really sitting here telling me that you calling the deceased mother to say, why are you burying your child in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Who the
yeah.
Trife handled that interview better than I would.
Well,
I would have been after I watched that Troy Ave interview, and you're speaking those type of words about my mother who just buried her son.
But
that's my brother.
You can tell Trife he's an OG. He's an older head. He
handled that beautifully.
Like, he's not, what I mean, he's an older,
definitely an intelligent guy.
Yeah. It sounded like, I take him at his word. I don't think he wanted to be there sitting there doing that interview at all. I think it was a million other things he'd rather been doing.
Yeah.
But because that Troy Ave interview surfaced,
he had to.
Everybody's family has to have a representative to speak for the family.
Right. Yeah. It's unfortunate all the way around.
It is funny, though, after all that Troy is now calling these other rappers weirdos. They were the weirdos. I find that very ironic.
How come nobody... What's wrong with saying he was wrong about that? Why he won't say that? When Charlamagne asked him that at the end... I remember he was calling niggas weird, so forth and so on.
I mean, but you had to listen to the first hour or what we've already seen and what Troy has given out to the public. He's very arrogant. He will never admit if he's wrong. He will dance around a reason to make himself right, even if he sounds stupider to do so. But I also think I've never been a Troy Ave defender here, but I do want to take into play that he was shot, went to jail, came out, got shot in the head. My mind's going to be a little fucked up. let's keep in. I know he's had all these semantics before, but let's also keep that into play. I know it's cool to kill Troy Ave, but let's remember, as much as he kept saying, I got a bullet in my head, and he's trying to sound like Pac, and we can laugh about that, he still has a bullet in his head. Let's take that into consideration.
Yeah,
My mind's going to be nuts,
traumatic
too.
shit. Yeah.
And I think, which is so ironic but sad about this whole thing with depression and mental illness, I think, I can only speculate, but I think Troy Ave is going through a lot of mental illness right now. I think his brain is going nuts, and all he knows how to do is say, hey, look, I spent $1 million, check Instagram since I got out of jail. I think this whole...
right?
This was a traumatic experience. Your friend died in front of you, you're shot, you come out, people are still trying to kill you. He's going to be traumatized. But he's got to play it off because that's the persona that he's given to the world forever. And now he has to keep up with that persona, which is why it sucks to give people something you're not, because you always got to keep that up. And again, I don't know Troy. I didn't grow up with him. I don't know if he is a drug dealer or not, and I do not give a fuck. But he has kept up with this persona of being a tough guy and being this Brooklyn kingpin. And now he's got to continue to do that through this traumatizing moment, which he didn't think he'd ever have to face. But again, back to the energy that you give to the world, you now have to face. And I think he's suffering through it now.
And a very important point that you made a few days ago that I'll remind you of, because I think it's extremely important to know who and what you support before you do it.
Yes. I do remember that point that I made.
I call Black Twitter to the carpet. Yep. Call him up. Black
Twitter. I was gonna get to that after we had our little sentimental moment.
Man, fuck that.
I have texted all my friends included. This is not just to particular bloggers and some of you. All of you had Troy Ave as your Avy for 4 fucking years. And now I don't hear none of y'all saying a word. I said it to my own friends that had it.
Not a peep. How come none of y'all are saying anything? Do y'all play a part in this situation at all? I'm just big on accountability. I know that a lot of those guys have relationships with Troy Ave, and I know Troy Ave DM'd all of them.
Which makes you more pussy.
Because he DM'd me saying, post my shit. And I looked at that DM like he was out his fucking mind. I don't even like promoting my shit. I'm not promoting somebody else's shit. And then he unfollowed me. That was telling to me. That was telling. I mean, that was it, period. I didn't have a point, but...
But yeah, no, I want everyone that had Troy